I just wonder what makes an atheist so convinced that there is no God. I mean, perhaps science may one day prove that there is a God, and then would you believe? Or do you think there is something out there that we know it can't be defined, but there's something?
I think what a lot of theists don't necessarily understand about atheism is that it's not necessarily a situation where atheists have completely ruled out the possibility that God exists. Certainly, a lot of them have with very great confidence, and you always hear about, like, I mean, I don't know, Richard Dawkins likes to say that on the scale of 0 to 7, in terms of atheist or well, I think the 0 is absolute certainty of God, and the 7 is absolute certainty that there's no God, that he's a 6.9. The point that I think a lot of atheists would like to get across is that the time to believe something is when you have a good reason to believe it. And so if somebody talks to me about this amazing business opportunity or these millions of dollars that I'd inherited from my long-lost relative and just give me a small amount of money to get it out of the bank, it pays to be skeptical of things that are possible but unlikely. And I think that's where a lot of atheists slot the God question.
Okay. I just know that people can know things deep within their DNA, if you like, but
like
science
what?
might be able to prove something, and unless, like, scientists, I'm not that, you can't say that until you've got evidence. Sometimes I think the evidence is all around.
But do you think that people sometimes can feel like they know something very, very strongly within their DNA, like you say, but could be wrong?
Well, sometimes it's hard to think clear about things, but no, I just mean in anything. And then you hear, a wee while later, science has proved this. Oh yeah, well, we all knew that all the time. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, some of the things that science establishes are blindingly obvious. Or maybe they're blindingly obvious in hindsight because we grew up knowing this stuff and education had its effect on us. But in a lot of cases, science demonstrates some things that are very surprising and not intuitive and goes against things that people think they know in their DNA.
Well, that may be true too, but there's two sides to everything, isn't there?
Well, sometimes there are more than two sides to things, and sometimes there are two sides, but only one of them is actually right, and the other one just continues because it feels comfortable to believe. Right?
I mean, it might feel uncomfortable to believe.
Maybe.
I just think, we're all electromagnetic beings. So, and that is light. I mean, I personally believe you become light.
I think that would be a scientific error to say everything is light, because light has a specific definition that is distinct from the particles that exist in people.
Until science comes along and proves that there is something in that, I just think the electromagnetic thing's too strong to say that. I mean, how do you find that then? We're electromagnetic beings, and so is light is electromagnetic.
Okay, but I mean, this has to do with sort of a confusion about some basic principles of logic. It's like saying a dog has 4 legs and a cat has 4 legs, so a dog is a cat. I mean,
they're all animals. They're all alive.
Well, yeah, but you can put things in similar categories and point out where they're similar to each other, but that doesn't follow that the one thing is the other thing, right?
No. Well, I don't think that God or something is one defined thing. I think that's kind of. I know you've had that conversation about universe and everything, but
right. Well,
last
in some cases, God is a very specifically defined thing, and then when that definition doesn't work out, I feel like a fallback position is often to say, well, maybe it's not that thing, but there is something that I can't define and can't describe that I still believe in. And I mean, what I feel about that is it's fine for you to think that, but I have no reason to believe it.
I just think, I know like Scottish history, people have fallen out about religion in the world history then since ever. And if somebody decides, I don't believe that, so I'm going to create my own church. But I do think there's something about the Protestant way where everybody has a relationship with the universe or the Great Spirit or whatever themselves, or just enjoying, this is heaven, we're on earth, make the most of it because you're a long time dead,
Well, that's downright blasphemous for a lot of religious people, isn't it?
You're joking.
No, I'm serious. A lot of people would say that is a blasphemous thing to say, that heaven is just here on earth and there's no other heaven after you die. That would be shocking to a lot of people.
I think there's something when we die.
Okay.
It's just your spirit, your mind. But we're here to enjoy life and to try and make the most of it. Trying to look after the place and have a laugh and, help each other.
I think that's a nice and harmless way to live your life. I just don't think that you have to believe in some kind of external force that makes you do that. It's maybe just enough to think that that's a good way to live and live by that principle.
Yeah. Well, it's a shame that not more religions are like that. There maybe wouldn't be all the fights and upset that it can cause people. But obviously, if people want to believe in something, and I do believe there's something about prayer, and if people pray, then that's going out there into the universe, and that can be good as well. But
okay, but I mean, not to get all scientific, but it doesn't. But
know that. You don't know that. It's going somewhere,
Right.
And it's like, make your own luck, so be positive and it'll come back to you.
I mean, the things you claim to know are, the theory of how we know things and how we find things out is complicated. But the problem that I have is that the religious perspective is, if you believe something really, really, really hard, then it's true for you. And I don't think that's accurate, and that's why I do think that it's a good idea to be open to some outside information about testing things objectively.
Oh, I do agree, and you're right, you've got to be skeptical. There are a lot of people, religion is a power thing, where people, back in the day when it was written in Latin and you couldn't understand it, but, it shouldn't be like that. It should be just about helping each other, as I say, and trying to make the most of your life.
That sounds actually a lot like humanism, as a matter of fact.
I'm not a humanist. I think humanists as a religion in itself, they're so anti-religion sometimes. I would say I'm more of a pagan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, whatever works for you, Mary.
Yeah. Thank you.
Would you mind staying on the line for just another minute to answer a couple of questions to our call screener?
Okay, no bother.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Nice talking to you.
Bye-bye. You too, yeah, thanks.
Mm-hmm.